Homes has served our community's roofing needs since 1986. Our local team is proud to stand behind each roof we install and relationships we are building with our community. Highland Homes, where quality is our legacy.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Revo Racing Network for the TTR Short Track Series here tonight at the Bullring. My name is Trevor Earhart. Joining me tonight, Justice Murphy and Rob Rader running the production. Tonight, 150 laps around the Bullring for the first race in the third round of the playoffs for these drivers. Two-race round here to set the final five for the championship race at New Hampshire in a couple of weeks. Justice, we saw some great slide jobs, some video game moves at the end of last week's race. What are you expecting to see here tonight at the Bullring?
Yeah, tight, short track, a little bit of flatness to it, Trevor. May not see as many sliders, maybe a little harder to pass with single lane action, but I anticipate these boys slinging it around. Even still, going to be some physicality, I do believe.
I think we're going to see some beating and banging like we've seen pretty much all week all the races since we started covering the TTR guys. And again, TTR Short Track Series brought to you by Highland Homes Roofing. Be sure to check out Highland Homes Roofing on their YouTube channel. And for tonight, 150 laps, two stages, lap 30 and lap 70, one fast repair, one set of tires for these drivers as we get ready to take a look at the starting grid here tonight. And it's going to be Jared Duda on the pole with Tyler Truex in second. James Stenger is going to roll off in third with Kenneth Smith in fourth. Matt Garrett's going to start in fifth with Jonathan Leach in sixth. Patrick Capaldi is going to roll off seventh with Greg Vile in eighth. Matthew Thompson's going to start in ninth, and Robbie Walton will be in 10th.
And it'll be followed by Nicholas Tomlinson in 11th, Brian Hayes 12th, Kyle Taraska in 13th, and Tim Smith, shotgun on the field, Trevor in 14th. This is going to be fun. You know, we got stages at lap 35 and 75. We're going to see how this game gets to play out tonight.
Yeah, a little bit of update. Thought the stage was going to be at lap 30. Stage is actually going to be lap 35 for these drivers tonight. And Justice, I mean, I expect more of the same from what we've seen the past 4 weeks from these drivers. And it's going to be a lot of beating and banging on each other, a lot of hard racing, but at the end, a lot of good racing at the same time.
Yeah, these guys love to lean, and that's why you watch short tracks, right? These guys lean on each other. They know the limits they can push, and they're going to push them, especially guys that race around each other a lot, like these guys do. You're willing to lean on each other a little more. We experience that everywhere we go. So, yeah, I expect this to be really exciting from the drop of the rag, regardless of the yellow flags. These guys apologize every week to us. Man, we'd like less yellows. They still find a way to just make it a really fun watch, and I wouldn't trade it for watching anything else on a brisk Thursday evening.
And I wouldn't trade it at all. And it's been a blast to watch, a blast to cover. Jared Duda going for, I believe, his fourth win. It would be his fourth win in 5 races since we've started covering these guys here tonight. As the pace car is pulled off, we're waiting for the green flag. Jared Duda, Tyler Truex going to lead us to the green flag. Arnie's got it in the air, holding it. Green flag is out. On the throttle we go. And Duda trying to get clear of that 69 machine as they head into turn number 1 and going to do so. And Stenger trying to follow suit as they exit turn number 2.
Yeah, it looks like that bottom line is going to be the dominant line. We see they sorted out single file for the top 3 there. And the 3 car of Matt Garrett going to also slide in front of the 61 of Ken Smith. So top 6 cars have single filed out a little bit here. Now it's going to be about preserving your tire and getting to where you want to go. Who's going to be the first one to make it physical? Here's we see Tyler Truex underneath the 18 of James Stenger. He's going to dive down into 1 and 2 here, Trevor.
And Truex gave up that spot on the start of the race. Now getting that second spot back, so move him back to where he started this race. Garrett going to take a stab at it, as well as Stenger up out of the preferred groove on the inside line. Going to lose 1 spot, maybe 2 spots. As here comes Smith to the inside. And Justice, one of these tracks where we've seen the outside line be able to work to hold off some drivers, but here at the Bullring, the outside line not looking like it's a fun place to be. Stenger continues just to fall through the field.
Yeah, he's just up there, just bleeding spots, guys that we didn't even think would maybe be involved in this battle. I mean, the 4 of Jonathan Leach came from probably 6-7 car lengths back to make this pass, and the 18 is just falling off. So he makes his dive, though, now on the 4, try to put the 4 in that position. In the battle ahead of them, the 9 takes a look there as well.
Yeah, just went for the crossover move. That's tough for James Stanger. Went from running second all the way now back to that of sixth position, so lost a lot of time. Here comes Vile, though. He's going to look to the inside of Smith through 3 and 4, get that pass done. See, now moves up to fourth position behind the 3 machine of Garrett. And meanwhile, up front, already a second and a half lead for Jared Duda, Justice, and not really a surprise. It's a quick sprint, essentially 35 laps to stage number 1. But the issue is you only get one set of tires, so it's how hard do you want to go early versus how fresh do you want these tires to be over the course of this race before you finally put on that final set.
Yeah, I would think even short 35 lap run, perhaps Jared Duda has to deal with a little bit of traffic here in about 10 laps or so, maybe catching the very, very tail end of the field. And I think that's where the tire game comes into play. See if maybe these guys behind him are saving just a hair bit. As we see, continues to gain about a tenth a lap. But it, kind of sorted out through the field until you get to that battle for about 10th place right now. They're side by side, but you kind of expect that here. A little single file Bullring. It thrives on the physicality that comes probably here later in the race, getting after that stage 2 restart.
Yeah, I would expect to see after that stage 2 restart around lap 70, we'll see the aggression level go up. Right now, why not just kind of ride around and log some laps, as they say. We have one sideways. It's the 33 machine that spins it around. That's Tomlinson. Tomlinson that spins around. Thompson. And he spins it around Justice through 3 and 4. No contact made, though, but first caution of the night.
I actually believe that was Robbie Walton, Trevor, that spun it around,
Robbie.
And he is continuing that memoir from last week. Trevor, he can continue to write the book. It looks like maybe some, side-by-side action with Nicholas Tomlinson may have gotten him there, but a little bit of a spin out. We're going to watch the caution replay here, and we see Robbie Walton just kind of minding his own business. Behind the 33 Nicholas Thompson, just actually gets in a little deep in the corner, loses it, was pretty much going to spin it around either way. He does get a little help from the 4 car to finish it off, but that should be no issue there, no damage. He should be able to just keep rolling and be perfectly fine back there.
Yeah, for those of you who might have missed last week's race at Irwindale, Robbie had an eventful race, we'll say. He wrote, I think, 3 memoirs and a full-length motion picture in that race, and the incidents that he was unfortunately caught up in. None of his doing, just was the wrong place, wrong time for Robbie. And right there, maybe a little bit too much rear brake. Justice, it's one thing that we don't talk a lot about, but one of the few adjustments that drivers can make is playing around with that brake bias, and maybe you just got a little bit too much rear brake in it to help that car roll the center and just got on the brakes a little bit too hard and spun that thing around.
Yeah, it looked like a couple of guys Sunday in the Cup race coming to pit road at Talladega, another place where you run not a whole lot of front brakes. So when you're heavy on the rear like that, that's what ends up happening. It just kind of catches and goes around, and see you later. You go back to your position you were before the caution. Try to run back. We did see one pitter there, the 4 car Jonathan Leach. I'm sure that had to be some kind of fuel play, Trevor. Maybe a little bit of damage from whatever contact he had with the 66 of Robbie Walton. You see the pace car pull off as these boys are getting ready to come back to the green.
Yeah, getting ready to come back to the green, and Leach down pit road might like you said, might have been a little bit of front end damage that he got from that contact. But here we go, green flag back out. Tyler Truex, Jared Duda on the throttle, and this time Duda not quite clear that 69 machine, and actually Tyler going to throw it in a hard aggressive move there through 1 and 2. He's still going to be to the outside, but he's got to be careful here as he's going to give that spot up, Justice, and make sure that he gets in line there and doesn't get freight trained.
Yeah, you see, and he tried to go to that physical nature. Oh, did they collect it? Oh, no, 46 is around. As we were covering that battle for the lead there, Trevor, we saw Tyler kind of dive in, try to cross over, and get down and maybe make a little bit of a bump, get the 53 up the track as we're getting ready to go to our caution replay here, Trevor, and just back of the pack racing here. 46 and 22. Looks like the 46 just kind of cuts him no slack. Ends up causing the spin around. So, it's one of those things, people are going to dive on you when it's a 1-lane racetrack. So, it's not very good for arcing the entry.
Yeah, this time, It was Matthew Thompson. I thought it was him in the last caution. Nope, it's this time around for Matthew Thompson. Gets caught up there with uh, Kyle Traska, and Traska, one of those drivers last week, just as that we saw with the video game move through 3 and 4 last week at Irwindale, trying to get some spots. Almost worked out for him. I think he held on to 4th position, but Traska this time around tonight qualified in the back and have to try to work his way up through the field. It'd be fun watching that 22 try to work his way up through the field. A couple more cars down pit road, maybe for some fuel. Matt Garrett in the 3, Jonathan Leach back down pit road in the 4. An interesting call there from Garrett. Justice was in the top 5. Now going to have to restart at the back of the field with this pit stop.
Yeah, again, I would think this has to be some kind of fuel play to set you up long term, right? I'm guessing they don't need fuel to the stage. I know these things have pretty small fuel tanks, but I would think on a track this length, they probably can go 35 laps perfectly fine. So this has to be something to set him up maybe for some track position in stage 2. Or at the end of this stage, take a little less fuel, maybe just the left sides of the tires or something to try to get the track position, get up there to the lead, because that seems to be a pretty important thing here. Is we've seen it attempt to single file out a couple times. You saw Tyler Truex play a little game there on that last restart just to try to get to the bottom. So I would expect everybody to maybe make some moves to try to set themselves up long term for what best is going to win them the race.
See how that pit strategy is going to work out for Garrett and Leach. But right now, due to Truex again, is going to be the battle into turn number 1. Will Truex be as aggressive as he was on the previous restart? Here we go to find out. Duda again with a good restart. This time a little bit better than the last one, as he's not going to have to battle the 69 of Tyler. But Tyler again going to drive it in there pretty deep, Justice, but wrecking in the back here early on.
I don't even know if they got to the corner this time, Trevor. Kind of looking back there at the back of the pack, they look like they were parked right past the start-finish line.
Yeah, not sure what caused it. It looks like Hayes, Leach, Thompson all involved in that. Brian Hayes, Jonathan Leach, Matthew Thompson. I saw those three cars at least around. Not sure if there were more involved in what caused it, but I saw heavy damage to the front end of the 4 machine, Justice, which could end up causing him to have to use a fast repair here early.
Oh, that's brutal. Yeah, the 77 and 46 already parked. 4 coming around like he was trying to catch the pack and just kind of runs up on him. That kind of sucks when that happens. I've been there, done that. But yeah, 46, 77, and a disagreement on whose track it was at that point, it looks like, and 77 ends up in the wall, spun around.
Yeah, and just nowhere for Jonathan Leach to go. He's coming around at speed, and then the 77 of Hayes just kind of pulled up in front of him, and Hayes nowhere to go. And our producer whispering in her ear, maybe car's already taking tires, Justice?
No, I think what he's actually referring to, Trevor, if you remember last week, we had a launch there at Irwindale. These tires this time that are on that outside wall are a little bit outside of the racing groove. However, you know, if we get a little pushing and shoving, you might see somebody put somebody into those tires, Trevor. There's times I've wanted to do that to you, my friend.
I mean, it's a mutual respect, and there's times that I've wanted to do it to our wonderful producer in the booth as well, especially after events that unfolded last night. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, hey, go check it out, Racing Revolution over on the V-Speed YouTube network, and the Coastal Financial Truck Series over on our channel Monday night, where we'll be at Bristol, Justice, for that race. But before we get to that, here we go, another restart, working lap 27 coming to 28. We're going to our third caution stage break, going to be here at lap 35. It's going to be Duda and Tyler Truex again on the restart. And again, Duda with a little bit better jump. Tyler with a little bit of a bump from the 61, but instantly gets down to that bottom line.
Yeah, we see Tyler get right underneath him here, and he's going to make his dive. Or we're going to see the first lap led by anybody other than the 53. It looks like Tyler's going to get him here. I have to believe Tyler should clear him, but we see the 53 continue to hang on. There's something about driving that 53 car and being aggressive. We see that in other leagues that we cover and leagues we race in. As we see them get into each other, 9-car jumps on it, takes advantage, and coming to 5 laps to go in the stage, that may be what wins the 9-car of Greg Vile the stage, as long as he doesn't continue to take that wide entry, Trevor.
And Vile, the big winner out of the contact between Duda and Truex, and Stanger now back up there. He's up into third, and here comes Truex, though, looking to the inside of the 9 machine. A little bit of a slide off corner exit. Duda now stuck in the traffic. He's got the 8 machine of Smith and the Stanger there. He's kind of just stuck back there in 5th position. Tyler not getting the greatest of launches. And with 3 to go in the stage, Vile looking to hold on to it and get himself those 3 stage points.
Yeah, Tyler's pushing hard. You can tell he wants to win that stage and get as many points as he can, maximize while Duda's back there in a 1-point position. As we see the 8 car get loose back there, I think it's going to spin and cause the caution. Yeah, it ends up causing it there, and that's tough. I would assume this is going to get us to the end of the stage, though, Trevor. The current finishing order is probably, or the current order 1 through 5 is probably going to be finishing order.
Yeah, I would think right now, lap 34, that's probably going to be the stage break. No point. I don't even think they can't get it restarted right now and get back out there or get going again before the stage break, lap 35. So it's going to be Greg Vile, Tyler Truex, Jared Duda, James Stanger, and then Matt Garrett, the top 5 tonight that are going to get stage points. 3 points to the winner, 2 points for second, 1 point for third through 5th. And I believe involved in that wreck, Justice, was the 8 car of Tim Smith, and then Robbie Walton, again, just wrong place, wrong time for that 66 machine, Justice, and we should see pit stops here.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you what, if Robbie Walton doesn't write the memoir, I think I might write it for him at this point. Just call it wrong place, wrong time. Yeah, we see pit stops starting here with the leaders. Everybody coming in, definitely got to come in, get the fuel, get the damage. If you got any damage, go ahead and get that repaired. I'm sure as happy as Tyler made his tires there, he would probably like to be able to have 1 extra set at this point. Just to kind of help himself out. But yeah, these guys are going to come down. We see the 4 car has stayed out. I think he may be a lap down, so this may be him getting back onto the lead lap, staying out here, Trevor.
Yeah, I believe the 77 of Hayes got the wave around or stayed out. Jonathan Leach, a couple of laps down, either going to take a wave around here or be the lucky dog. Not quite sure how it's going to work. Long pit stop, though, for the 69 machine, as he's going to get beat out of pit road by a couple of drivers there. It looks like Kyle Taraski going to be one of the first cars off of pit road, along with Matt Garrett and Greg Vile, and then Jared Duda and Tyler Truex, Justice. And we've kind of seen that, just slow pit stops from some drivers, and not quite sure what's causing those pit stops to be that slow.
Yeah, I'm assuming some of them are staying for more fuel. Like that's my assumption. It's similar to like a next-gen car where some guys just don't use as much fuel or whatever it may be. So that's my assumption, is that's what's going on. That's why they have a little bit shorter time, because I look at Kyle Taraska, I mean, 7.8 seconds in the box. That tells me that all he took was fuel. There's absolutely no tires. And some of these other guys, maybe for sure tires, or they're just having to sit a little longer to get the tanks completely full there. But yeah, Kyle Taraska, not afraid to put on a show. Now we get to see him at the front of the field here, Trevor.
Yeah, it's going to be Taraska, Matt Garrett. We'll see which one of these is going to have the better launch, who's going to have the long run speed, who can hold the drag guys back behind him. But excited to see what the 22 is going to do. And along with Matt Garrett, haven't seen him in many races tonight. Doesn't get the greatest of starts, though, here, along with Taraska. Taraska with a great start as he's going to jump out there. And Vile now trying to get to the inside of that 3 machine. This actually might cause Duda to have some issues, as he might get caught up behind the 3 of Matt Garrett and get freight trained by not only the 9, but the 69 of Tyler Truex.
It may be the 69, the 61, and if the 18 plays his cards right, he may get involved in it. Actually, now he's kind of stuck up there. So, yeah, it looks like the 61 maybe kind of files off here. I would think that Tyler's going to make something happen as we see the 53 make contact with the 3. Going to allow Tyler to clear him. Well, almost, not quite. That 3 car is just hanging on up there, Trevor. First guy we've seen hang on that tough all night up there.
Doing a really good job getting a little bit of contact made with the 53 of Duda again. Duda almost spun him around, and like the 3 of Garrett just kind of leaning on him there a little bit, but gets cleared now, and you can just see the freight train forming now as Garrett continues to fall backwards. But moving forward, Tyler Truex out of the rear bumper of Vile almost got a little bit loose there on the corner as he tries to run down Vile, and Taraska is now, it's a 4-car breakaway, making a 5-car breakaway at the front as Kenneth Smith starting to close in on this. But here goes the battle for the lead.
Yeah, Greg Vile made a good little bump there while you were kind of covering that, Trevor. Right on corner exit, got Kyle a little bit high, and moved him out of the way, basically, in a little different spot than normal. Normally, you see that move on the entry of the corner. You kind of try to punt the guy up the high line through the middle. So, interested to see. Maybe Tyler took a little note or two as we see him dive to the inside of Greg Vile as he tries to make his move. The 53 with great roll speed through the middle and exit, though, and he gets himself involved in this battle. And this is not done yet as the 53's got great drive off. It looks like Tyler had a little bit of trouble with the handle there, and the 22's back involved.
Yeah, I think Tyler just overdrove 3 and 4, went way high on the racetrack, and now here brings Taraska back into the picture. His dude is now clear. Vile and Tyler stuck on the outside. It's going to allow Taraska, Kenneth Smith to the inside, and now creeping up behind them, Nicholas Tomlinson in the 33 machine as well, getting into the picture. This is going to be a battle for second all the way back to that of about 8th position. This is Matt Garrett, Tim Smith closing in on this as well.
Yeah,
in one car round.
Is they going to bring it out? The 18 is stopped on track basically, but they keep it green. Okay. So that's interesting. Go back to the battle at the front though. And Taraska in the 22 is cleared for second place. The 61 of Kenneth Smith is cleared for third. Vile looks like he's going to clear for fourth, and they're going to settle in. Vile's trying to get his 2 for 1 though. He's going to try to clear the 61 here in the 3 and 4.
As Smith got up into the outside wall, it was James Stanger that had a little bit of a moment down the front straightaway. He hangs on to it. Smith with a little bit of a moment through 3 and 4. So he's going to give up the spot to Tyler Truex and then 1 to the 33 of Tomlinson. There is now he's settled back in, but into that window now, Justice, where it looks like it's going to be single file for a little bit until the guys can get a run on one another. I just got that moment in the race where you're trying to save a little bit of tire here, knowing that you still got that one step, but we still got to go another 20 laps before we get to stage number 2.
Yeah, this is an interesting time because you have to decide how aggressive you want to be. Are you still on your full first set? I can tell you the way that Tyler Truex's car is handling it sure looks like he's only on that first set, as he is struggling to maintain the bottom of the corner, kind of like he's overshooting it a little bit and then just can't get the drive off. As we see what we've seen all night, or at least so far in the last 15-20 laps, is like you can run the second lane, but you basically have to be on the guy's door. As we saw kind of an extended battle, and I almost wonder if doing that is what kind of heated Tyler's tires up even more than normal, as the handling appears to have fallen off. As we're on board right now with Matt Garrett, who's all over the bumper of the 61 Trevor, and see if he can work his way up here, as he would love to get back into that top 5.
Yeah, Garrett been in the top 5, took that early pit stop, fell to the back, restarted in second, and kind of fell back from there, and then now working his way forward and trying to get past the 61 of Kenneth Smith, who we're now on board with, as he chases the 33 of Nicholas Tomlinson. Tomlinson running 4th, Kenneth Smith in 5th. These guys just all kind of in a line, waiting to see what the tires are going to do and how they want to pursue this as we get closer to that stage break at lap 70. Heard one car into the wall maybe, or a blown motor on the racetrack, not quite sure, but heard a little bit of contact somewhere, and it looks like, yep,
the 66 of Robbie Walton.
You know, Justice, and we saw this week 1 when we were covering these guys, that a little bit of nose damage could overheat these cars, and you could blow a motor. And we saw Robbie involved in that last caution, get that little bit of nose damage, as we got some battling going on here in the 1 and 2 with Smith getting by Tomlinson, kind of used him up a little bit, and that opened the door for Matt Garrett now to try to make a move to the inside. And Tomlinson, not happy with it, pays it back through 3 and 4 and gets collected by Tyler Truex, and Truex gets collected by the 61 of Smith and cautions out now for I believe the 5th time tonight. And yeah, that's just good old short track racing right there, Justice.
That is short track racing to an extreme there, as these guys had a little disagreement about how that position was obtained, and Nicholas Tomlinson said, "I'm going to get to your bumper, and we're going to settle this like men," and it ends up, unfortunately, collecting the 69 of Tyler Truex as well there. It appears they do have a situation here where if you're the guy that causes it, you're going to get an EOL. So interested to see where they stick this. I'm assuming this is going straight to the 33 car. And he will be at the rear of the field on this next restart.
Yeah, not quite sure how they're going to sort that one out, but you see it right there through 3 and 4. Tomlinson just gets to the rear bumper of the 61 machine, and for Tyler Truex, just nowhere to go as he bounced off the 33, and then the 61 of Smith was still spinning around and bounced off of him as well. But I mean, that's your typical Thursday night short track racing. So I believe we're gonna get an onboard shot here just as with Nicholas Tomlinson as they head into 3 and 4.
Yeah, just definitely frustrated with the 61 kind of using him up, and he showed his displeasure there. I think some of that is that it also brought the three in. I think if you get used up a little bit and you lose the one position of the guy, you probably handle that just a hair differently. Maybe just try to dive underneath him, but there was no room to dive underneath him at that point. As you see the three car actually taking tires here on pit road, at least one side of tires for sure. But yeah, I think you maybe just dive it back underneath him if the three car is not there. But with the three car being there, he chose to just square him back up. So um, interesting, to say the least. But that's what makes people watch the short tracks, Trevor. You love the short track tempers.
Oh, you love to see it. And we saw it last week with Jared Duda, and I believe was it Robbie Walton last week, Justice at Irwindale. I know Jared had an issue with somebody last week, and we kind of saw it starting to flare up, and then here tonight some more tempers flaring, and it's just going to get better. As next week we go to Five Flags racetrack, Justice, for the cutoff race, and 5 drivers are going to move on to the championship race or to run for a championship in New Hampshire. So next week at Five Flags, I think we're going to see even more aggression and a lot more tempers as drivers try to figure out who's going to be the 5 drivers running for a championship.
Yeah, man, another a little bit of a single lane racetrack, but a little more banking. I think these street stocks are going to handle Five Flags very well. We should see some great battles there as we get ready to see a great battle of the stage here. Trevor, 6 laps to the finish.
At 6 laps to the finish, Jared Duda, Kyle Taraska on the restart, and Taraska with a great jump there. Not sure if he jumped that restart, but a great launch compared to the 53 of Duda, but Duda fighting back hard on the inside line, actually going to clear the 22 out of turn number 2 down the back straightaway. And here comes Vile Justice trying to get to that inside for second position as they work their way to turn number 4.
Yeah, if I thought somebody was going to pass Duda to win this stage, it would be that 9 of Greg Vile. He's shot out of a cannon a couple times, so going to see if he can close this gap up, as it's about 4 or 5 car lengths here. And we see Taraska trying to get back to the bumper of the 9 car. Try to make his way back into second place, but most of the field here is single filed out. 33 did indeed get that EOL, Trevor, so he has already made his way back to 8th place here, so gonna try to take his chances. He's got a couple laps here to get back into stage points.
Yeah, only needs a couple more spots to get up there and get those stage points for himself. We'll keep an eye on that, but stage rapidly coming to an end here. Working lap 68, coming to lap 69. It's 2 laps to go in the stage. And here goes Taraska to the inside of Greg Vile for that second place in the stage as he tries to get that pass done as they head into 1 and 2. And James Stanger now going to try to shove his nose in there and get to the inside of the 9 machine. As they make a little bit of contact on the exit of turn number 2, but coming to the white flag in the stage, Justice is going to be the battle for third between Stanger and Vile. But that battle looks to be over as now Tim Smith tries to get up there, but I don't think he's going to have enough time. They work their way down the back straightaway out of turn number 4. It's going to be Jared Duda getting stage 2 win, going back-to-back in the first stages, along with Kyle Taraska, James Stanger, Greg Vile, Tim Smith. Going to be the top 5 here for stage number 2. And exciting finish there to the stage for the battle for that was going to be for 5th between Vile and Smith. Vile holds on, though. And we're going to get some pit stops here. Maybe see some tire strategy, but almost to the halfway mark in this race. We should see some drivers with some pit strategy. But I think this is a perfect time to take a quick commercial break and step aside, and we'll be right back for the drop of the green flag for the final stint of the race.
Highland Homes has served our community's roofing needs since 1986. Our local team is proud to stand behind each roof we install and relationships we are building with our community. Highland Homes, where quality is our legacy. Highland Homes has served our community's roofing needs since 1986. Our local team is proud to stand behind each roof we install and relationships we are building with our community. Highland Homes, where quality is our legacy. Highland Homes has served our community's roofing needs since 1986. Our local team is proud to stand behind each roof we install and relationships we are building with our community. Highland Homes, where quality is our legacy. Highland Homes has served our community's roofing needs since 1986. Our local team is proud to stand behind each roof we install and relationships we are building with our community. Highland Homes, where quality is our legacy. Highland Homes has served our community's roofing needs since 1986. Our local team is proud to stand behind each roof we install and relationships we are building with our community. Highland Homes, where quality is our legacy. Highland Homes has served our community's roofing needs since 1986. Our local team is proud to stand behind each roof we install and relationships we are building with our community. Highland Homes, where quality is our legacy.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Revo Racing Network for the TTR Short Track Series brought to you by Highland Homes Roofing as we work our second stage caution here on lap number 70 for tonight at the Bullring as the drivers here tonight are racing in the third round of their playoffs, first of two races as we try to find the 5 drivers that are run for a championship in a couple of weeks at New Hampshire. My name's Trevor Earhart. Joining me tonight, Justice Murphy, Rob Rader running the productions. And Justice, it's been a pretty entertaining first 75 laps of this race. We've seen some angers flare up as we get ready to go back racing. What are you expecting to see for the rest of this?
Yeah, I'm excited to watch it. Somebody's gonna have to put a bumper to that 53 car. Get him out of the way. Get up there. Punt him back to 10th place. I mean, come on. As we get ready to see this restart here, he was knocked out of the lead on pit road once again. We get a great restart from Tyler Truex. See if he can get clears of 53s right on his bumper. Said, I want the lead, and I want it now. As you see the 3 car kind of ping-ponging off people in the back. They sorted out here, Trevor.
Yeah, the 3 machine of Matt Garrett had a little bit of contact from somebody. Not sure who it was, but they all keep it straight. It was Patrick Rapaldi and Tyler Truex on the front row for that restart. Rapaldi's already fallen all the way back to about 7th position. Tyler Truex now under fire as we're on board with the 53 machine of Jared Duda. Duda trying to get to the inside. He's there, Justice. This is kind of the issue we saw with Tyler. Once he got out of the groove, it just kind of fell apart for him. He went to the back of the field, but now gets right to the rear bumper of Duda as they exit the corner, trying to go for that crossover move, but it looks like he's going to fall in line now as they head through 3 and 4.
Yeah, I think once Duda got in front of him there, you see Tyler again a little loose on exit of 4. He struggled there all night. Car just doesn't seem to grip up like he wants it to, but he's trying to overshoot it a little bit, get to the bumper of the 53, and I think maybe driving a little harder than he might like to. These guys battling to get to New Hampshire in 2 weeks for the championship race, and a win gets you there, and you ain't got to worry about 5 flags next week. You see Tyler there bump off the wall.
That was a pretty good hit to the outside wall there out of turn number 2, and it feels like he's maybe getting into the gas a little bit too soon, trying to carry a lot of corner exit speed and just getting up into that outside wall. As we move back here, it's the Tarasca, the 33 machine of Tomlinson, Greg Vile in the 9. They're all kind of doing battle here, trying to move up as Tomlinson stuck to the outside line. Might have a little bit of gap if he gets aggressive and pulls down in front of the 61 Justice, which he's going to do. Almost a little bit of contact made, but closed off that gap from Kenneth Smith, trying to fall in line there and not lose any more track position.
It looks like there was definitely a little bit of contact made, but you kind of want to just get there, and if he spins you, it's either that or just lose your positions to the back of the field as the battle with the 22 and the 18 heats up ahead. Shades of Joey Logano, Kyle Busch if they make a little contact here. As the 18 wants to dive again, but Greg Vile's down there in the 9. And the 18 may end up losing another position here. 9 stays below the 22 at Tarasca as well. And he's on the move. I've said it. If I was going to pick somebody to go catch that rocket ship of the 53, that 9 car may be able to do it, but he's going to have to keep working, get past these guys, and just not run his stuff out. You know, don't run your tires out of life. Go up there and make something happen.
Tell you what, about 2 laps ago, Tyler Truex, big moment at a turn number 4, lost about a second to that of Jared Duda. I mean, he barely hung on to that machine, and now it's allowed Vile and Tarasca to close in. But I'm right there with you. I think Vile's got the speed. He's get through the traffic, Justice. But actually, Vile's a lap down, trying to battle up here and get his lap back, showing how much speed he does have, just unfortunately a lap down. So Tarasca going to be that 3rd place machine as we go further back here, and Smith and Tim Smith and Kenneth Smith doing battle with each other for 5th and 6th.
Yeah, the Smith boys back here battling. Yeah, I didn't realize the 9 was a lap down. He lost that somewhere, Trevor. Maybe while we were at commercial break. There I did not even realize that. So that's tough. He definitely wants to get that lap back. He's been quick all night. You see contact there between the 33 of Nicholas Tomlinson, the 8 of Tim Smith. Guys using each other up. Looks like Tomlinson today. If I'm gonna get used up, I'm gonna start using everybody up. And sometimes you gotta have that attitude when you're on these little bitty bull rings like this.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the attitude you got to have. And if you're going to get used up, you might as well get them back. Race, what do they always say? Race people the way they race you. And for Tomlinson, he's been used up a couple times and not afraid to use that front bumper if he has to. As we see him still trying to hold off the hate machine of Tim Smith, Matt Garrett, and the three kind of lurking back there as well as we work lap 92. And the nice thing about these short tracks, the laps go by quick. Just as we're already working lap 92 of 150.
Yeah, and the 53 of Jared Duda kind of out here on his own, but he's starting to catch up to a lap car. And the handle looks like it may be fading a little bit on that 53 car. I've seen him track out a couple times. He's a little slower in the middle of the corner than he has been all night. But I've seen him track out and nearly hit the wall a couple times off of 2 in particular. So see if maybe that handle's fading away on him, as it looks like everybody else maybe has the car coming into him. But yeah, he's going to catch this 4 car. That'll be interesting. A lot of times what you see is the guy about to go a lap down fights a little harder. The 4 car is already at least 1 lap down, Trevor. So it looks like he's 3 laps down. So yeah, he may not battle him too hard, but I mean, when you're out there just running by yourself, sometimes you want to battle just because you're out there.
Yeah, Jonathan Leach having a rough go of things tonight. Was caught up in our first caution of the night when the 66 machine of Robbie Walton went around, and it's kind of been a downhill night for the 4 machine of the Leaches. He's just out here trying to collect some laps, but you see right there our leader Jared Duda coming into frame, getting ready to put the 4 machine a 3rd lap down. Duda's got almost a 2-second lead over Tyler Truex and Kyle Taraska, and Taraska was running the fastest lap times a couple laps ago, Justice, but just hasn't been able to get to the rear bumper or get past the 69 machines. We see some more beating and banging on each other as the 3 machine of Matt Garrett gets to the inside of the 33 of Nicholas Tomlinson.
Yeah, Nicholas Tomlinson just hoping he probably doesn't get used up here. As 3 Matt Garrett clears him, and pretty clean move there. Going to get by him, and yeah, you know, again, these guys have single filed out a little bit now, Trevor. So maybe they go full Irwindale mode at some point. If you're close enough to a guy, just start sliding them. See what you can do. Get down there at that wall, eat the marbles up.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you've got to make a move at some point. You know, as this race winds down, 51 to go, you can't just stay in line and maybe hope for a caution. I mean, it's possible. We've seen these cars get out of shape as we're on board with Taraska. You see Tyler Truex there loose, and you see a big moment there through out of the exit of turn number 2. So I mean, it's possible you'll get a caution, but you don't want to bank on it. So you got to start upping the aggression on getting these moves done. As Taraska now up to 2nd.
Yeah, Taraska aggressive, and again, maybe he can get to Duda. I want somebody to get up here and give him a battle. They're trying. I don't think anybody struggled with the handle more than Tyler Truex tonight. We've seen him loose, big moments, banging off the walls. Yeah, a little bit. Maybe the car's not agreeing with him here at the Bullring. As we see a side-by-side battle here with the 3 and 61, 3 clears him. You know, these guys want to race hard. They want to beat and bang, but man, you just can't quite get to the guy at the right moment to do it right now.
No, you can. As the 4 machine leads up into the wall, Tyler Truex with a little bit of contact made to the rear bumper of the 4, but no harm, no foul in that as he tries to stay up there with Taraska. And just as we kind of touched on it earlier, the fuel cells in these things being as small as they are, with these guys having to go from lap, I think we restarted lap 76 to lap 150. If this thing goes green, I mean, we might legitimately see green flag pit stops for fuel.
Yeah, that would be very interesting, Trevor. You know, when you don't do that a ton, at least we've yet to see these guys do it in the 5 races we've covered. When you don't do that a ton, you make mistakes, or you certainly can make mistakes. So we talk about it on our Monday night broadcast quite a bit. It's going to very much come down to execution. Do you know where to brake to get in there and be at pace speed by the commitment line? Do you know the pace speed to get around there just right and maximize your time in the box? I mean, there's so many things that come down to the execution. Don't slide through the box. So, going to be interesting to see if they get to that point. Who does it the best, and do one of these front 4 or 5 cars make a mistake and let somebody in that maybe we're not expecting?
And it's going to be the fun thing to find out. I mean, will we get green flag pit stops? 41 laps to go here this time by Jerry Duda with a 3-second lead over Taraska as we did a nice little camera action here from our producers. You see Stanger there going by the lap car of Leach, but he's got some company right behind him. Is the 8 machine of Tim Smith and Matt Garrett trying to follow him, but development justice. Here comes Tyler Truex on pit road.
Yeah, first one to pit road. So, you go down there, go ahead and top it off once you get to the window. It looks like that was his strategy. And I think that's normally kind of along my lines of thinking when we're in a series where there's a lot of green flag pit stops that happen. So you trust guys not to make mistakes. I think a lot of the time, though, in this scenario, I probably would have ran super long. As we do see him taking tires, you're either going to lose 2 or 3 laps, I believe, coming down pit road here. As we now see the 18 to James Stanger joining him there as well.
A little bit of contact exiting pit road for Tyler Truex as he made contact with Tim Smith, who was coming onto pit road. So that might be something we have to watch out for. Is the pit exit here pretty just right back onto the racetrack. Essentially, is they kind of conjoined with each other, pit exit and pit entry, as more cars down pit road. Justice, and now it's going to be: is it fuel only? Is it fuel and tires? We saw Tyler take tires. I mean, this is going to get really interesting. Is this the first time we've covered green flag pit stops for these guys?
Yeah. Yeah, going to be interesting, Trevor. Again, one of the things I didn't mention in pit road execution, don't speed on pit road. Don't speed on entry, don't speed on exit. And we see here the 53 of Duda come in as well with the 46 pitting right in front of him. And sometimes that can be tricky as the leader. But, from what we're hearing from our producer in our ear, he believes it's going to be very close for these guys, even from here to make it. So if he thinks these guys that pitted in the last, say, 3 or 4 laps are close, he definitely is not sure if Tyler Truex can make it from where he pitted.
That's going to be interesting to see. And, that's just adds another layer to the TTR short track series that I think makes it so much fun to cover. We've seen the beating and banging, the tempers flaring, the short tracks, the bigger tracks, the great battle in the 4 wide that we saw at Richmond. We saw essentially dirt track racing at a asphalt track last week at Irwindale. And then now here tonight, long green flag runs with green flag pit stops, fuel mileage getting to play into it. I mean, I don't think you could ask more from a series, Justice, that's essentially just short track racing, but gives you so much in that little condensed time.
Yep, and we see it here again, Trevor. The 69 of Tyler Truex closed quite a bit of the gap on pit road, the gap that existed to the 53 of Duda, and pushed it just a little too hard the first corner he followed him in. Struggled with the handle of the car again. He does, however, maintain just about a 5 or 6 car length gap here. If he can keep Duda from gapping him here, he may have a chance, say with 7, 8 to go, something like that, where maybe the tires start to come into play. I'm not sure. I did not see the 53's pit stop, whether or not he also took tires there, but I imagine with Tyler making up as much time as he did, he absolutely had to have also taken tires. Yeah, so close there.
Yeah, I would think maybe the same call, and I just, I think lap traffic might come into play here as you see Duda working through Grapaldi and the 4 of Leach. Leach gets out of the way, Grapaldi trying to get out of the way, but just going to be a tough spot for both of them as the leaders work through. I just think that Tyler's car just not as comfortable around here as Jared Duda is. I've already seen him get into the wall a couple times trying to chase that 53 machine. It's going to be back here. Stanger and Taraska, those two flipped spots after the pit cycle as Taraska trying to get back up there past the 18 machine, as he was one of the fastest cars, Justice, but with that pit cycle, lost a lot of time to not only Duda, but the 69 of Tyler Truex.
Yeah, there's a considerable gap now from second to third, but third and fourth remain on top of each other here. And Greg Vile back in fifth with the 46 of Matthew Thompson breathing down his neck. That's a lap car, so Greg Vile also a lap car. So I guess that is not the battle for fifth and sixth. That would be with the 3 car who is by himself. So yeah, the battle's kind of just up front is who can catch who here. As we see the 69 losing some time here to Jared Duda. Can the 22 get through the traffic and get to the 69 of Tyler Truex? I think that's what I'm going to be looking for over the course of the next 25 laps here, Trevor.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the battle we're going to have to watch out for, is if Taraska and Stanger can catch up to the 69 of Truex. Or, I mean, will we see a late race caution that changes things up? That could really throw a wrench into things. And then the potential of the fuel mileage. I mean, you talked about it, that it might be close for these guys to make it from their green flag pit stop. So a lot of things to watch out for here in these last 20 or so laps. Justice is Taraska here on the screen trying to get past the 4 machine of Leach, who I gotta say, for a lap down car, Justice, around this short of a racetrack, doing a really great job just kind of getting out of the way and being predictable.
Yeah, that's all you can ask from the lap cars is, hey, just stick to a lane or be predictable. Let me watch where you're running as I'm trying to catch you, and then as I catch you, just be there. Where I've watched you run the last 4 or 5 laps, be there. That's all I want. Looking, Trevor, kind of at the runs after the stage, right? If they say they went green on about lap 74, you had guys run anywhere from 37 to 44 laps there. So that's going to include those 3 or 4 caution laps. When you consider that, it is very tight. And when I say very tight, you're talking about these guys maybe being 2 laps short on fuel, Trevor, the way I'm looking at it, or 3 laps short. So puts them in a very tight box there.
Yeah, I mean, this is, with you giving me those numbers, I mean, Tyler Truex pitted on lap 110. He was the first car out of everybody to come down pit road. Everybody else around lap 112, 13 to 117, kind of the pit window there for everybody. So the 69 of Tyler Truex, just going to be the car that I'm looking at to maybe have a little bit of fuel issues, but we'll wait and see. I mean, if you're Jared Duda, you've got a 2-second lead. I mean, you can kind of save a little bit of fuel if you need to, but around these short tracks, it's kind of hard to save that fuel with kind of the short amount of time that you have to kind of lift and coast.
Yeah, and that's the hardest thing is anywhere you're using brake, you're typically not going to be great at saving fuel. Even with the lift and coast method, you're kind of limited. It's so short. It's only 0.4 of a mile around here. So by the time you're lifting, if you're trying to lift and coast, that's just as you've got to acceleration. So yeah, but if you're Jared Duda, if you think you're close with 2.6 seconds, maybe you run it at 65-70% throttle for a few laps and get yourself there. You're not going to lose enough time for it to make a difference. Even if the gap closed to say a second, you just push the throttle back down, take back off, and you've kind of been the best car all night. So we kind of go on board here with the, not quite sure who we're on board. That's with Jared Duda. So see kind of what he's doing. How's he working it? When we've been in car a couple times with other guys, Trevor, we've seen that red light be on just a little longer. It looks like Jared Duda maybe is trying to lift a little early, but that may just be lead control more than anything.
Yeah, that red light indicating the RPM range and letting you know that you're pretty close to the red line there. And for Duda, you're right. It doesn't look like he's on that light as long as I've seen other drivers, and that could just be, the comfortability is now it's almost a 3.5 second lead back to Tyler Truex. As we go on board here with the 22 of Taraska and kind of see down the straightaway, and it looks about the same to me, Justice, but again, it just could go along down there on the back straightaway. It looked like he was on it a whole lot longer as we get a good look here at Tyler Truex. to kind of see what his is doing. But this right here, that right there, that's what has been Tyler's problem pretty much all race long, has been corner exit justice and trying to get that power down.
Yeah, he has struggled with the handle of this machine all night. As we see, Tyler's is significantly shorter than Jared Duda's on that RPM max there, Trevor. Is he just right there was a little longer than we've seen at any point in the 2 laps we've been on board with Tyler. So, yeah, when I'm looking at it, that's what I'm looking at right there. I mean, it just blipped red. I think Tyler knows he is probably really tight on fuel. Again, he's got such a massive lead to third, though he could back it off even more if he needed to. So I'm thinking he's probably going to be good to get to the end. Probably would have liked to have not cut himself as close as he did, but I'm guessing that he is perfectly fine at this point, getting to the end. Trevor,
I was looking at the last lap times, Justice, and I mean it was. I saw some 16.2s, 4s, and stuff. So maybe a little bit. That last lap for Jared Duda was a 16.4.1, and for Tyler Truex was a 16.1.6. So and Duda right now in heavy traffic. So he's got Tomlinson right there in front of him, who's running 8th, and some more lap traffic in front of him. So that's probably why a little bit slower as he comes to 3 laps to go in that 53 machine. So I think everybody's gonna be good here, and barring any late race, calamities, it should be Jared Duda's race to lose here if he can make it on fuel.
yeah, well, and he makes contact with the 33 there. Speaking of calamities, the way we've seen the 33 react to that tonight, leader or not, he may not be real happy with him. So we see him keep it clean here for now. As he's going to remain inside of the 53 and kind of get him up out of the groove. I think that was his way of showing his displeasure with how he was handled there. As we see Duda take the white flag, drive it down here into 1 and 2. No need to be aggressive. Don't get yourself in trouble here. Go down to 3 and 4. You can stay where you're at and get this thing done.
Gives him a little bit of a shot there, a little bit of aggressive move from Jared Duda through 3 and 4 to the back bumper of Tomlinson. But just like that, Jared Duda sweeps both stages, gets the win, gets the pole as well. That 53 machine, Justice, the dominant car here tonight, locks himself into the championship race at New Hampshire. He's going to get to burn it down. We're going to talk to him here in a couple of minutes as he gets to. We'll let him do his celebrating, and then we'll get to talk to him. But it's going to be Jared Duda, Tyler Truex, Kyle Taraska, James Stanger, then Tim Smith, Kenneth Smith, Matt Garrett, Nicholas Tomlinson, and Patrick Capaldi going to be the top 10. I'm sorry, then Greg Biles is going to be the top 10, Justice, as we see the 53 burn it down for the fourth week, not in a row. I'm sorry, it's going to be back-to-back weeks, but 4 wins out of the 5 weeks that we've been covering. As we have our race winner, Jared Duda, into the booth, and Jared, it's Trevor and Justice, man, you dominated that one pretty much from off the truck. You got the pole, you swept the stages, you get the win. I mean, how you feeling about that, and knowing that you locked yourself into that championship race at New Hampshire?
Yeah, no, it feels good. We were fast in practice, fast in qual, fast in the race. I actually didn't sweep the stages. I think Greg won stage 1. I got a little washed up and messed up and lost. God, I think I finished 3rd stage 1. But other than that, it was green flag racing. It's refreshing to see, like Justin said to us. Good to run a little green flag pit stop as well. Hasn't happened in a while, so it's good to kind of switch things up and add a little variability.
Yeah, single lane racetrack tonight. You got back in traffic there a little bit. How tough was it to maintain that top lane until you could get yourself clear? And then, how tough were the moves once you needed to actually get underneath somebody?
Yeah, top lane here is absolutely horrible. If you got people in line behind you, you're going to the rear. As for passing, the way this track, the way you enter the corner, if someone is underneath you, it's super easy to cross them over. So all you really do is enter a little bit higher. You get a good run off, and just hopefully it sticks.
Well, Jared, it was a great run for me. You made it look really easy tonight, but next week, 5 Flags Raceway, and then the championship race at New Hampshire. How are you feeling about those two? And do you kind of take a step back next week and just get yourself prepped for New Hampshire and the championship race?
Yeah, like I've been telling you guys, I'm not super great at the big track. So New Hampshire being a 3/4 mile scares me a little bit, just because that's not my strong suit like it is the Bullring here, a little 3/8 mile short track is where I excel. So 5 flags. I'm just gonna go in there and try to run hard, try to win a race, but obviously not too worried about it.
Greg, we can't, or Jared, we can't wait to see you next week at Five Flags. Congratulations again on your win here tonight. Before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout outs.
Yeah, I know. Shout out to Tyler like every week, putting it on. Shout out to Justin for being admin. You guys doing the broadcast. I like watching it back after the race. You guys do a good job. That's why I work so hard to get into the top three so I can talk to you guys every week. And then shout out to Highland Homes Roofing as well for sponsoring the series, being able to be broadcasted.
Jared, we appreciate talking to you pretty much every week. We can't wait to see what you're going to do for us next week at Five Flags. And again, congratulations on the win here tonight.
Thank you.
And that was your race winner, the 53 machine of Jared Duda. We're going to step aside for a quick second, though, and we're going to get our other two drivers pulled up in the booth with Tyler Truex and Kyle Taraska. But we'll be right back after this short break for the rest of our interviews.
Highland Homes has served our community's roofing needs since 1986. Our local team is proud to stand behind each roof we install and relationships we are building with our community. Highland Homes, where quality is our legacy. Highland Homes has served our community's roofing needs since 1986. Our local team is proud to stand behind each roof we install and relationships we are building with our community. Highland Homes, where quality is our legacy. Highland Homes has served our community's roofing needs since 1986. Our local team is proud to stand behind each roof we install and relationships we are building with our community. Highland Homes, where quality is our legacy.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Revo Racing Network for the TTR Short Track Series brought to you by Highland Homes Roofing. We've got our second place finisher tonight, Tyler Truex in the 69 machine. Tyler, you got to his bumper a couple of times, but on the long run, it just looked like the handling went away on your car. How you feeling after that race tonight?
Good. Just Duda had all of us completely covered tonight, huh?
Yeah, it kind of caught me a little bit by surprise. A couple times looked like you got underneath him, had a chance to make the run, and he just maintained that top lane a little bit better. But once he got in control, what else could you have done? Is there a point where you thought maybe you could get clear of him and hang on, or was he just kind of that much better tonight?
I was hoping coming in earlier than them guys was going to help on the end, the longer run, but I'm assuming Jared took tires that last pit cycle too. So when I came out right behind him, I thought it was going to be more of a race, but I'm assuming he was on stickers too and just kind of pulled away on that 10-lap newer tire that he was on, or 5 laps or whatever it was. But tires were definitely crucial. I wish I didn't give up so much of a gap prior to pitting that last cycle, and I think I would have been more of a race, but I just couldn't hit my marks like he was. He was definitely a class of the field.
Yeah, Tyler, I think it did end up taking tires there on that last run, but you know, tonight a lot of looked like a lot of cars loose on corner entry. I mean, was it just the brake bias adjustments being made over the course of the race? We know that you can move those back and forward, and on the broadcast, seeing a lot of a cherry red brake rotor. So, I mean, were you in there making in-car adjustments with that brake bias, or is it just kind of something that you left alone?
I kind of majority left it alone. I made a couple changes, but nothing crazy. But yeah, it was definitely free on entry. Like I said, it was hard to really hit your marks lap after lap here. Like for the three stocks, I wasn't really expecting something like that.
Well, nonetheless, a great finish for you here tonight. You finish second next week on to Five Flags and then the championship race at New Hampshire. I think points wise, you were looking pretty good to make your way into the New Hampshire race. So, how are you feeling about next week at Five Flags and then the championship race at New Hampshire?
Yeah, congrats to Jared on advancing to the championship. But I think we're in a good spot with entering with some playoff points like we did, and then finishing like we did. I think we'll be all right. Hopefully, all goes
Well,
well next week.
well, Tyler, we're excited to see what you got for us next week. Before we let you go, though, the floor is yours for any shout outs.
Yeah, I just appreciate you guys doing what you guys are doing each week. It means a lot.
Well, Tyler, we appreciate it. We thank you for bringing us on board, and congratulations again on the second place finish. And we will see you next week at Five Flags.
Thank you very much.
That was our second place finisher, the 69 of Tyler Truex. And now we're going to bring in our third place finisher, the 22 of Kyle Taraska. And Kyle, not as dramatic of a finish this week as it was last week, as you made a video game type move, I would say, last week to come up in fourth. But this week you get a nice third place finish out of it. How are you feeling about your race here tonight?
Yeah, tonight was a lot of fun. I was talking to Tyler a little bit there, and we were in the waiting room. And I don't think this is the first time I ever ran laps here. I don't think I was the biggest fan of the track, but it was a lot of fun to run. I guess pretty fairly technical track for these cars. So really enjoyed the green flag run. Towards the end there, and having green flag strategy and referencing back to my video game move last week, I think with some of the players not showing up this week, I think it opened it up for so us to have those green flag runs. So all in all, a fun race, and definitely glad to be a part of this one.
Yeah, it looked like a couple times there, Kyle. You might have had something there for Jared. What more did you need at the end? Maybe a couple extra sets of stickers that Jared didn't have, or was it kind of a battle for second out there tonight?
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple of times I had the lead, and it's a balance, right? When you have one set of tires and trying to manage your stuff and set a good pace for that. And I certainly was under driving a little bit more than I should have when I had clean air and was leading there earlier. And then, like you said, it kind of turned into a battle for second for a while there. And just like I said with the strategy, we all had decisions to make there once we got into the final fuel window. And I was one of the last guys to pit, and I was staying out, banking on a caution, to be honest with you. And it was pretty nerve wracking to pit early, knowing that when you pit, you're going to go at least 2 laps down. And the last thing I wanted was to get trapped by a caution. So I took it conservative. I was really impressed, especially the way how the pit entry and exit kind of cross over each other on the backstretch. I was pretty impressed and surprised that we all made it through there with no caution. And it was just simply pit strategy. I mean, I felt like throughout the race, my lap times were fairly comparable to Jared, and he just had better track position. And then, once we started going, I knew I wasn't going to catch the Tyler or Jared there for a while, so I actually started to back off a little bit just in case we did get that late race caution. So I had a little bit for the end, but um, like I said, I felt like once the pit stop cycled, I was going to end up in third unless something crazy happened. But felt like we were probably a second place car. I definitely felt like I was better than Tyler all night, and I felt comparable to Jared with track position. So maybe one of these weeks I'll win one, but just wasn't in the cards for today.
Well, Kyle, you got two more chances at Five Flags in New Hampshire, and I know you're not in the playoff picture, but two more chances to go out there and get a victory here to end the season. How you feeling about the next two races coming up?
Yeah, I feel good about them. They're real racetracks, right? I mean, not to say that the Bullring or whatever isn't, but Pensacola is a really fun racetrack, and New Hampshire is going to be, I think, probably going to see some drafting. I think New Hampshire is going to be pretty fun with these cars, and hoping for next year we get to run some bigger tracks. Like I'd love to run like Darlington and stuff like that. These are just the unique combination that iRacing allows us to run on this platform, with the street stocks at some bigger tracks. It makes it pretty fun. And I think these next two tracks are going to be a pretty good combination, and just trying to have fun. And it's just something to do on a Thursday night, and just really appreciate Tyler and everything he does to run this. I've tried to run leagues in the past, and it's a pain in the neck. So I really appreciate what Tyler does for bunch of guys like us just to get together on a Thursday and for the most part have fun. Sometimes some aggravating drama, but we work through it.
I mean, it's been fun to cover you guys, Kyle, and we can't wait to see what you're going to do for us next week at Five Flags and then at the season finale at New Hampshire. And before we let you go, I mean, give us any more shout outs you want to give.
I don't have any really shout outs. I mean, again, shout out to Tyler for all he does, and shout out to you guys for broadcasting, and I guess shout out to my buddy Tony, since you referenced to him and with my video game move last week. So I missed Tony this week, and I can't wait for Tony to come back and give me 50 incident points at Five Flags.
It was a great move last week. We can't wait to see if you're going to pull off another one of those in the next 2 weeks. But Kyle, congratulations on your third place finish here tonight, and we will see you next week.
Thank you, guys. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. That was our third place finisher, Kyle Taraska. And Justice, it wasn't as dramatic as it was last week at Irwindale, but a completely different style of racing here tonight at the Bullring. We got long green flag runs, pit strategy involved, and kind of the same result though. Jared Duda sitting in victory lane here tonight.
Yeah, not every race has to be dramatic in that same way, Trevor. This one had plenty of drama, right? You had a couple different strategies. You heard those guys talking about it. Tyler wasn't quite sure if Jared took stickers with him there. It turned out he did. So, yeah, just one of those things where there's different strategy, different dramas. So, great race nonetheless. These guys put on a show every week. I expect more of the same, perhaps more Irwindale-esque. If you like those slide jobs, you may see some of that at Five Flags with the way that track likes to grip up and get slippery.
Highland Homes has served our
We
community.
get into Five Flags, but for tonight, it's going to be it for us here tonight from the Revo Racing Network for the TTR Short Track Series brought to you by Highland Homes Roofing. Again, go check out Highland Homes Roofing on their YouTube. Comment, like, and subscribe as they've been a wonderful sponsor to jump on board here with the TTR guys and get them through the end of their season. And we'll be back Monday night for the Racing Revolution Coastal Financial Truck Series as they head to Bristol for their fourth race of the season. We got done with some Charlotte racing last week. And if you missed that one, be sure to go in and check that one out as it was a pretty good finish, as well as we'll be racing Wednesday night for the Racing Revolution Cup Series over on the V Speed Network. And we'll be right back here Thursday night for some more TTR Short Track Series from the Bullring for the final, or from Five Flags for the final round of the round of three, as we find out who the other four drivers are going to be racing for our championship in 2 weeks at New Hampshire. But for us here tonight, myself, Trevor Earhart, Justice Murphy, and Rob Rader, that is going to be all, and we will see you again Monday night.
Highland Homes has served our community's roofing needs since 1986. Our local team is proud to stand behind each roof we install and relationships we are building with our community. Highland Homes, where quality is our legacy.